Kitchen Witching, coming to you from the ugliest kitchen in America. I'm your host, Susie Bianco, and today we have a treat. As you can see, it's pretty crappy out. It's been snowing on and off for 4 days. Somebody got stuck on my road, sideways on the road, and a bunch of us had to try to push her out, and she got out thankfully, but it's not been a great morning. So today, to make up for all the crappy weather and the slush and the snow, we're making hot chocolate. It's gonna be fun. So, hot chocolate is actually pretty easy. I mean, well, there's a lot of steps to it, but it's not too bad. So, we started here. We're gonna need per mug. So, if you want to make enough hot chocolate for multiple people, you're gonna want to remember to divide all these by however many people you're going to be making for. So per mug, we're going to need 1.5 cups of milk. Whatever milk you drink is fine. Vanilla to taste. You can go real overboard on it real easy, so be careful with that. 2 tablespoons of white granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. The star of our show, cocoa, 1.5 tablespoons per mug. 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Because I like putting cinnamon in with chocolate, I think it adds an interesting dimension to the taste. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of all-purpose flour, whatever flour you got, just for a little bit of extra thickening. You could even just put in 1/2 teaspoon in the entire mix. You don't want to put too much in, just to get it a little bit thickened. Also not mentioned, but maybe a little more than optional, everybody's favorite hot chocolate topping, marshmallows. It's good stuff. Now, hot chocolate is a very interesting drink. To make it, it's something that is still made very traditionally in Mexico, Central America. And I even got one of these super fun things. This is called a molinillo. And it's a beautiful wooden hot chocolate frother. Specifically what it's for. I think you can use it for other drinks, but it's specifically for hot chocolate. Now, it is a very interesting shape. It has 3 little rings here, I hope you can see. And literally what you do is you put this down in the pan, and you go like this with it. And now the pan I'm using is not quite as shallow as I hoped, so I'm not going to get the depth on this that I wanted to, or I would be happy to show everybody how to do that, but you just put it in, and there you go. We can try it a little bit later, just so you get the idea, but it adds a lot of wonderful aeration to it. Of course, in this case, you can also use just a plain old whisk, give it a whisk, work some air into it, just like we did when we were making whipped cream. And also the flour will help thicken that up a little bit. The flour is not technically traditional, but it'll give us an extra hand in making it thick, so we don't have to cook it quite as long. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that in just a second. Stay tuned. Okay. So we go ahead and get started. On a medium-sized burner, go ahead and let it up to about medium or medium-high. And we're going to go ahead and toss it in our milk. Now I'm making a double batch here, so it's going to look like a lot more than what you're going to be doing per mug if you're only making one serving. Okay. So well, we can let that heat up a little bit. We're not in a rush. It's just going to take however long it takes. It's pretty easy. And, oh, I should point out, over here are all of my ingredients. You could easily put these all in just a small jar or a small plastic bag and make individual servings, just like a Swiss Miss packet. Please don't sue me, Swiss Miss. And I know we're putting vanilla in this recipe. Oop, there it is. But you can buy dried vanilla extract powder on Amazon. Showing you the link. I hope. And you can go ahead and mix in that to taste with your dry ingredients, and then just like you're making regular old hot chocolate, just pop it in the milk, or if you make it with water, you shouldn't, because that's gross. Don't make your hot chocolate with water, it's gross. But yeah, just pop it in whatever you're making and you're good to go, honestly. So we're going to go ahead and start with our 1.5 tablespoons of cocoa. And then we have our 2 tablespoons of white sugar and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Go ahead and dump those in. And our, when I say half a teaspoon of cocoa, which I'm using a teeny tiny jar for because my other glass was very dirty because my dishwasher is not working. And then we have our half teaspoon of flour. I'm only going to put, I think that's, it might be a whole teaspoon I put in there. But you can go light on the flour if you want. Then we have 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which again, you can go light on the salt if you want to. Won't hurt anything. And vanilla to taste. There we go. That was maybe a 1/2 teaspoon, I think. So then, for those of us wanting to do this in a slightly more modern American way, we're going to take our whisk. Just give all that a mix up. We're just going to do a real basic mix just to mix the dry ingredients in with the wet here. As you can see, it's getting a little frothy, which is good. There we go. You can still see there's a little bit of clumped up cocoa there, but that'll be okay. So now, as everybody knows, hot chocolate is, well, it's fairly ancient. In time immemorial, basically, people in Mexico, Central America, used to use the cacao bean as, well, it had significance and importance in their culture, and they would use it for ceremonies, and they would use it to eat too. So what our modern idea of hot chocolate is comes from them, though they served it cold. They would also serve it with pepper, if you guys remember that, cloves, cardamom, different spices, and it would be cold. So it would be cold chocolate. And they would aerate it by taking glasses and just pouring it back and forth between the glasses to make it thicken up and get some air into it. Now, history records the earliest people using this as the Mayans, where it was believed this practice dates back centuries, maybe even a millennia before recorded history of the Mayans doing this. But eventually, colonizers came, they found the chocolate, they took it back to Spain. Everyone in Europe went crazy for it, and then it came back to the Americas eventually in the form of hot chocolate. No longer cold, no longer spicy, but still good. You know, it's still good. And in the area where it was first invented, namely Mexico, we have a new, interesting, just absolutely beautiful way to stir it. So how this works is, and normally this would be a deeper pot so that you could really get the aeration with these rings in here. But all you do is you set it down and give it a spin. And as you can see, that gets very frothy very quickly. You don't have to work so hard. Ooh. With the flour in here, we won't have to work so hard to get it to thicken up a little bit for us. But it's very cool to be able to find an ancient tool like this that is still in modern use in certain parts of the world, and have the opportunity to learn about it and to use it on camera for all of you lovely people. I feel very, very lucky that I'm able to do that. And I hope that I'm not disgracing it by using it like this in any way. But I think it is fascinating and awesome and beautiful. So that is our Molinillo. And like I said, it works better when you have more liquid in it. So, but for this, we're going to finish up just with our whisk. And this is still on medium heat. You can put it up a little bit higher if you want, but you want to be careful not to scald the milk. I always get stressed out about that when I'm cooking anything with milk in it. And I'm like always frantically scraping the bottom because I'm always worried about scalding it. Trust me, when you scald milk enough times, you will learn not to do it because it's horrible. There we go. Let's give it a little thickening, a little aeration. I think that's good. Honestly, you can cook it down a little bit longer if you want. It doesn't matter. You can have it a little bit thicker, you can have a little bit thinner. It's whatever your preference is. And that's really about all there is to it, except for dishing it up and enjoying it. And putting on lots of marshmallows, by the way. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, why would I go to all this trouble? Why don't I just buy some already made packets? Well, you can do that, but the cost per capita per cup per capita is much cheaper. But you know, that's when it comes to hot chocolate, you don't really want to go cheap. But it's also easy to make according to your specifications, the way you want it. This is a nice deep chocolatey hot chocolate. I find the deeper flavor much more pleasant personally than most packets of store-bought hot chocolate. But you know, it's up to you. It's just something fun you can do when all the roads are closed because you've had a massive snowstorm and you probably have all the ingredients at home to give it a shot. But for me, I think I'm going to go relax and watch the snow fall and enjoy my cup of hot chocolate. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I know it was a short episode. Yes, the fridge agrees. So thank you for joining me here in Kitchen Witchin', coming to you from the ugliest kitchen in America. And happy cooking and enjoy your chocolate. We'll see you next time.